Legend Elite Motorsports. I'm your host, Isaiah, and today we're going to continue to disassemble the motor to dig deeper into what happened to the engine, mainly piston number 4 and so on and so forth. So let's dive in and see what's what. Okay, so we got the 14 millimeter out here. This one is a 30 millimeter, which actually has a axle kit. If you have one of these, it's one of those 30. And pop this loose. I mean, it's not necessary, but it's actually better, especially if you're taking it to a machine shop and they need to make sure all of these items are clean. Okay, now as you can see, this breathes oil, and there's O-rings inside and on the back side of this. So I'm going to have to, oh, there we go, clean that up. But so here's the O-ring. It's super smashed, pretty normal. And there's an O-ring right here on the inside. So both of those need to be replaced. And this whole plate can get cleaned. Take it from there. Okay, so I pulled the motor mount. I pulled the tube that comes around for the water, for the heater core that goes to the firewall. I popped loose all of the screws for the oil pan. I took the timing chain guides out. And yep, let's see what we got up under here. There we go. All right. Not too vicious. We got a little bit of old oil in here, mainly, but not too bad. A little bit of silicone on the screen, nothing too extreme. So everything looks excellent under here. So what we're gonna do is clean out the oil pan, get it baffled from my guy, and then we're gonna take off the pickup tube, oil pump, and then we're going to take out the rods, then crankshaft. See how the bearings are doing after all of this time. All right, so let's get to it. Okay, it's a little windy out here, so I apologize in advance. So basically, I want to show you each and every part of this motor to show you how good it is. Okay, so I got the crankshaft out, main caps, pistons, rods, of course. Let's see, so the bearings, they look extremely good. Okay, so this is the film that comes on the bearings when you first install them. And you see it didn't eat it away. It's actually very smooth. My fingernail's not catching. This is piston number 1. Okay. So you can see the bearing here. It looks like there's a gash there, but if you put your fingernail on it, it does not grab at all. So we're talking some sort of a dirt and or debris kind of getting in this passage and making this little indentation, but again, does not grab the nail at all. So this bearing actually looks extremely well. This is piston number 1. I micro polished the crankshaft, not myself, but I actually took it to a machine shop umpteenth years ago, and they micro polished the crankshaft for me, And of course I use my assembly lube and whatnot and put it together. These pistons and rods, I actually found them in a bin, and I never changed the piston rings. I figured they were good, popped them in the block, and ran it almost 9 years with used piston rings. Granted. So anyway, I just wanted to see how tough these engines are, and I don't know if you've seen the videos, but I was banging this car off a red line, and just so you guys know, red line is 6,000 RPM. So moving on to the next rod. Okay, this one again catching some debris. Does not catch the fingernail at all. Not at all, not even a little bit. Which is great, because if anything catches your fingernail at that point, it's highly recommended to get your crankshaft checked. These bearings are not a big deal as far as replacing them. They're fairly cheap. But what you want to do, because here's the cap for 2. Okay, so whatever was in there was trying to hang on tight, but of course it came out. Good wear. This is the original material here. But if you pop this cap out, which I'm going to do right now, okay, it's going to say what it is on the back, and that is a standard bearing. So that is excellent. Everything is looking really, really good. As far as, rebuilding, I am going to take the crankshaft to the machine shop anyway, just to have them look it over, make sure it's within spec, because that's very important. I don't want them to cut it or anything like that, because that makes things worse. So what we're going to do is continue moving on. So this is piston number 3. Number 3 looks exceptionally good. There's nothing that troubles or worries me about how these are looking. And then here's number 4. But before we get to that, okay, this is cap 3. Still looking good, nothing catching the finger. All right, good. So this is piston number 4. This is the one that actually failed. Bearings look excellent. A little dirt on there from removal. My bad. But if you look here, the bearings look excellent. But this is also the piston that failed. So let's take a look at it. So everything looks good. Everything looks good. And here is our issue. Alrighty. So it looks like we broke this land right here. See if this will come out. Let's see. So long story short, these piston rings, I have no idea what they are and where they came from, but these piston rings was doing the job so well that it broke the land beneath the ring without damaging the ring, which is surprising. But of course, that's where your oil consumption and all of that other stuff, it goes behind the ring. And this is where we got our little oil on cylinder number 4. So you look there, you can see daylight. So it was sealing perfectly and everything, but with the gap there behind the ring, yeah, it's going to lose compression. So the engine still turned over, it still ran, but only one making compression is the oil ring at that point. So that is definitely pretty good. Let me put this chunk down for a second. Alrighty. Acorns. So yeah, and then we have some sort of a disturbance here too. So it looks like I need to take this out and see what's destroyed there, because something definitely is destroyed there. Okay, so it is on both sides. All right, let's put this down. Okay. So, yep. It seems that it was definitely leaking beneath both rings. So I stand corrected. So, yeah. It ate right through that. So I want to say this isn't because of the boost. I think this is a hot spot. Let me see if I could. I don't know if it's me, but it looks like someone tried to do some sort of a repair to this piston, and it held up thus far until it met 31 psi. But yeah, there's some sort of, yeah, feels like JB Weld, whatever this is. Yep, so I'm definitely going to have to link that to the failure, because if you look right here, it looks like they tried to repair the piston, and I guess it didn't go too well. Whatever they did use lasted a long time, but now I want to take this wrist pin out and see what's really going on. But we will get back to that. I gotta bother a neighbor for a press, because these are press in, press out wrist pin. Since we're never using this rod again, we'll press it out and see what kind of repair whomever had this rod before me did. So anyway, moving to the main bearing caps. Okay. Now these are on the wrong side. Okay. This was done pretty much when I was still a noob. So regardless of what, the engine was running like this, and I'm not going to do that again. So same deal here. Everything is looking brand new still, even though they're ass backwards. Now this one you can't get wrong because it only goes in one way. So that's still looking good. Crankshaft is showing to be in excellent condition. None of these scratches are deep. That's probably just sucking up fragments from the timing chain tensioner. So now we step over to the block. So everything is looking good here. Same deal with the bearings. These are on the opposite. This is supposed to go onto the cap. The other one with the dip is supposed to go onto the block. So regardless to what, they stay lubricated. There's a hole top and bottom for lubricant. So the oil pressure kept everything gliding smooth here. And then cylinder number 4, it looks good from here, but we're gonna flip this around, take another peek. Alrighty. So the cylinder actually looks perfect, except this area here where we have a little bit of alloy right there. So it's not too bad. You could definitely catch it with your nail. So what I plan on doing is most likely honing this out a little bit and take some measurements to make sure that they are all round and not egg-shaped, which is ideal. And we'll kind of take it from there. But everything is looking pretty good except piston number 4, of course. And we're gonna get this block off to the machine shop. I have to label all of these bolts so I know exactly where they go when I get the engine back from the machine shop. So ground bolt, motor mount. This bolt is to hold on the tube that comes around the block. Same deal here. And last but not least, we have to take off the oil pump and change this guide. That is definitely excessive wear. So we're gonna swap that guy out and get a new one on there. We should be good to go. Alrighty, so I finally got the wrist pin pressed out. So these pieces pretty much fell out as soon as I discovered them. They kind of came out pretty easy. But if you look over here, I'm not sure if this is JB Weld or melted aluminum. But I sat here and I picked it off of here, and it seems like JB Weld. I'm not too sure, but I can definitely tell you that this is the cause for failure. If they did a repair or if the actual material melted and went down on this oil cooling passages, because there's a couple of them back here, and you see this one chipped, and that just so happens to be where the JB Weld is, which is weird. Excuse me. But long story short, this is definitely the point of failure. Definitely. I'm not sure. Let me know what you guys think this is down in the comments. I'm interested to see what you guys think, because it looks like JB Weld. I would assume the melted piston would be a little bit more of a different color, and melted piston would definitely melt more than just a splash, so to speak. So I don't know. I'm definitely leaning towards JB Weld for sure. And here's the wrist pin. Lots of damage on this one. Besides pressing it out, you know, that's what this scar here is. But you could feel some indentations here. But this is also a thick wrist pin, so that should hold the power no problem. Alrighty, so I just wanted to give you guys the update on piston number 4 and take it from there. And with that being said, I will see you guys next time. Make sure you don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon to get updated notification, and I'll see you next episode.